Good afternoon. Come on in, type in freedom now. I'm LaToya McBean Pompy, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with a wonderful team at McBean Law, where we believe in immigration freedom, freedom to be your best here in the United States, freedom to grow your business, freedom to thrive, and um, and certainly freedom to bring your good ideas. Come on in and type in freedom now. Hope you guys had a terrific weekend. If you're joining on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, let me know that you're there and that everything sounds good and crystal clear from your end. I see someone is joining us from Israel. Hey there, Shabanita. Thank you so much for being here. I see Pakistan is also in the house. Naz, thank you. Jose, thank you. Friends, I'm already getting questions. Our consultation fee is about our consultation fee. We charge $300 to meet with my colleagues and $399 to meet with me. If you're new to our company, visit McBean Law's website at mcbeanlaw.com, where you could learn a lot more about us and what we do and who we help. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Come on in, type in freedom now. We can be reached at 914-898-9488. If you're joining on TikTok, double tap that screen, give me some hearts and some likes. Hello, hello. Come on in, guys. I see Brazil is in the house, Austin, Texas, Guyana. Awesome. Awesome. Friends, we ask that we keep this discussion and chat wherever you're joining from. Keep it civil, okay? Keep it civil. We are moderating this session, and so we would like everyone to keep in mind that folks are here today for information. So please do not harass individuals based on the questions that they've asked. Please keep it civil. And if we find that you are not being civil or you're spamming us, we will place you in a timeout and certainly block you if you're harassing others. So come on in, say hello, hello. There's a lot going on at McBean Law and across the country with immigration. To stay plugged into the major events and news and tips and such that we share, get on our newsletter list. Subscribe to our newsletter at mcbeanlaw.com/subscribe. Very easy. mcbeanlaw.com/subscribe. And you'll be in the loop as we send out our newsletters to our followers, our subscribers each week. Hello, hello. Now, there's let's get into our immigration news, okay? Let's get into some important immigration news. And the first one has to do with what's happening right now on Capitol Hill that you really need to be aware of. At this time, we are in a government shutdown, okay? We don't expect this shutdown to last very long, but essentially what's happening now is the White House, the Senate, and the House are all considering a big funding bill for DHS, among other agencies, of course, to keep our government going. But what I really want you to think about is what's happening with the Department of Homeland Security and their funding requests, specifically to fund ICE. There is a growing movement among senators and members of Congress on the House side to not to tie the funding for DHS for ICE with changes, reforms. We want to see some things change, okay? We all are seeing the horrific events play out in front of us in Minnesota and in other parts of our country. And Senator Schumer, Chuck Schumer of New York, is leading the charge to reform ICE by having the law enforcement officers wear body cameras, for the mask to be removed, and certainly for them to stop the unconstitutional actions that they've been engaged in over the last several months or year. So this is a growing need on Capitol Hill to scale back the funding for ICE unless they meet these new reforms. And so Chuck Schumer is calling on fellow senators and folks on the House side to join in on this effort to use this opportunity and time to reform ICE. And this is picking up. This is really picking up steam on Capitol Hill. And as a matter of fact, the New York Times reported that Chuck Schumer had a discussion with President Trump and said to the president, people do not like what you're doing on immigration. They don't like what they're seeing. And now is the time for a change. And the president doesn't like, it is reported that he doesn't like government shutdowns. And so there's discussion going on right now. If you, I strongly urge you, friends, to make your voice known to your representative. You are counted. You have representation on Capitol Hill, on the House side, and certainly on the Senate side. You should give your representative a call today and just voice your opinion, leave voicemails, or you could email your congressman or congresswoman's office with your opinion about DHS funding. And if you do not know how to reach your representative, on the screen currently on YouTube and on Facebook is the phone number to the switchboard on Capitol Hill that would allow you to just say the name of your representative, and that switchboard automated system will route you to either your senator or your representative. The number is 202-224-3121. Type it in, guys. 202. Let's do it together. And I'm asking my moderator to do it because there's only so much I could do at the same time. Type in 202-224-3121. Do it now, guys. 202-224-3121. Type it in the chat so that others could see this number. This is the number to call and reach your representative and voice your opinion that I do not want ICE to have increased funding. I want to see reforms made. They need to take off the mask. We need to have more accountability by DHS. We don't want our constitutional rights to be violated. Just share your opinion with your member of Congress. There is no risk to you in doing so. 202-224-3121. Type it in the chat. And I see that some of you are doing so right now. And find out and voice your opinion today. Specifically, Senator Schumer is pushing for a funding package that includes body cameras on these ICE agents, banning masks, limiting roving patrols, which means that they will not have the ability to just walk up to a person at Home Depot in the parking lot or at Walmart and ask that individual, are you from here? Where are you from? Are you a U.S. citizen? Because that person looks like they are an immigrant or here unlawfully, or they have an accent. They will cut back. The reforms will target cutting back on those roving patrols, despite the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court gave the DHS the green light in September of 2025 to conduct these roving patrols during the course of litigation that is still going on, by the way. Also, the reform would require judicial warrants before officers can enter homes. I think we're all for all of this, right? This is all good stuff. This is all good stuff. So call your representative today, 202-224-3121, and just share your opinion about this, and that if you do not want ICE to receive a boost of funding to continue the aggressive work that they're doing. Here's your opportunity to share your opinion about the matter. Secondly, friends, speaking of enforcement activities, yesterday on Sunday, I did a reel and shared it on YouTube as well about Ohio and Haitians. If you've seen that video, type in, I've seen it. Thank you. I've seen that video. Apparently, it is being reported out by MS that ICE is gearing up to go into Springfield, Ohio, to begin enforcement activities against Haitians. There are 12 to 15,000 Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, although I've been hearing from you that, certainly some of these individual people have left the area, but the last number I saw is 12 to 15,000 Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. TPS, TPS, temporary protected status, is slated to end tomorrow on February 3rd for Haiti. We're still waiting on a response in a lawsuit regarding the matter. Okay. Now, and I'm asking my colleague actually to also do a quick search regarding Haiti. We had such a busy morning, I hadn't even checked in on it. So if there's a new update regarding Haiti, I'd like to know about it so that I could pull it up here today. But essentially, the issue here in Ohio, the issue for Ohio is that President Trump has said out of his own mouth that these people need to be removed because Springfield, Ohio has been overrun by Haitians. And look at what they've done to the city. Those were his words in a video interview. And so they're highly motivated now to make Springfield, Ohio their next target. The community, from what I understand, and I've been getting calls this week, I got calls this weekend from people who are connected to other people in Springfield, Ohio, and they're just very concerned. People were afraid to go to church yesterday, and they were calling me and my family and other people about, should I go to church? I hear that ICE is going to target Springfield. So this is a very real concern. I did that reel in which I shared some strategies, some things that folks need to think about. Go watch that reel. It was published yesterday. Next, friends, let's go into Minnesota for just a minute here. We're going to touch on where things are with Minnesota. In Minnesota, a judge says that she won't halt or stop the immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota as a lawsuit proceeds. A federal judge declined to halt the immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota and the Twin Cities, denying a preliminary injunction that was sought by the Attorney General of the state and mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul as their lawsuit moves forward. The judge said it was unclear whether the state's constitutional claims under the 10th Amendment were likely to succeed, though she acknowledged evidence of serious harm to communities, including allegations of racial profiling and excessive force by federal agents. Very disappointing judgment there, but there's some good news in Maine. In Maine, ICE has they've retreated. They've halted their surge in Maine thanks to Senator Susan Collins, the chairwoman of the Senate Appropriations Committee, who, what I've heard is that and read is that she negotiated the effort to end their enforcement surge in Maine. Now, so that's good. And we've already discussed we've discussed Haiti. Friends, what are we doing about this, however, at McBean Law? There's a lot going on, and at McBean Law, we're hyper focused on helping those who we have the opportunity to help. And there are a lot of people right now whose life is on hold because of the USCIS adjudication pause that I've been talking about to the 39 travel ban countries. We have launched our lawsuit onboarding process, and some of you have already submitted your application and payment, and we are really, really going to hold USCIS accountable for this and to get your case processed all the way until the end so that you could get a decision in your case and get that green card or that naturalization interview, and certainly your work permit. this adjudication pause, friends, is impacting and hurting a lot of people. There's also a second pause, which is to the 75 countries. And those 75 countries, we've been hearing a lot from you as well that you need us to get on it and fight back. And we will. Stay tuned for an onboarding and update from me regarding the onboarding process for the 75 countries that are experiencing a pause to your immigrant visa. You're going all the way up until the end for a interview at a U.S. embassy around the world, yet due to this unjust pause of your immigrant visa processing, you are not getting that visa so that you could come to the United States and be with your family member. And I know that many of you are suffering and experiencing real hardship. These are stay tuned. We're working on things to get the onboarding open for you guys. But with respect to the 39 country pause, you must be physically present here in the United States. You must also have a pending case at USCIS. You need to also be a national, of course, of one of those travel ban countries. And you must not be a plaintiff in a similar lawsuit or mandamus case based on the same applications. Go to our website, friends, at mcbeanlaw.com, and you will see on our homepage the information about this onboarding process. There is a fee to join this multi-plaintiff lawsuit. It's $1,500. There's a fee agreement that you will need to review and sign online. You must also upload your USCIS receipt notice showing that your case is pending, and you must complete our plaintiff eligibility form in full. Otherwise, you will not be a plaintiff to this lawsuit. One of the key questions that many of you have been asking me, calling our office and asking, is whether your information will be shared with the public, and the answer is no. We're going to keep your name. Your name will not be on the complaint that will be filed. Your information and your USCIS receipt notices will not be made public. There's a way that we are able to keep this information confidential during the litigation. So, and then secondly, you've been asking me about whether USCIS will retaliate against you and come after you if you join in on a lawsuit like this like this. And the answer is no, because keep in mind that a judge or a court process is underway, and it's a very serious process in which the court is providing oversight, and the agency now has a responsibility to meet the court's demands and requirements. And so normally the opposite is what happens when you join in on lawsuits like this. You're more likely to have your case move forward versus, not doing anything. This is an indefinite pause, and we are going to seek for the government to lift this pause off the applications of our plaintiffs, our clients, so that you could get your end result. We are not guaranteeing any success. We never guarantee success, but we have a very strong team who will be working on this and this litigation, as well as the 75 country litigation. We mean business this year. We're not joking around, and we are here for you. So if this is something that you think is right for you and your family due to the hardship you're facing, go to mcbeanlaw.com and you will see information on our website about this. Now let's get back into, and so by the way, friends, I'm speaking specifically about countries that are on the 39 travel ban country list. So we're talking about countries like Haiti, Somalia, Sudan, Iran, Nigeria, Laos, Cuba, Togo, Angola, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Venezuela. I think, Venezuela is also on this list, and many others. Antigua, Ivory Coast, Dominica, the Gambia, Senegal, Tanzania, mainly African countries, friends. And so uh, that really bothers me. Now, We're pushing back. We're pushing back. So let's get into your immigration questions now. That was a mouthful. Thank you for bearing with me. Let's see who is on today and the questions that you have. Thank you, friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go up a little bit. The lawsuit, I'm seeing a question here about whether it's going to impact the outcome of your underlying case at USCIS. And the answer is no. And keep in mind that we are not representing you on your underlying case at USCIS. We will only be representing you as one of the many plaintiffs in this lawsuit, one of the plaintiffs in this lawsuit only for the outcome that we're seeking, which is for USCIS to lift this pause off of your application so that you could get that decision letter or that green card or that work permit or whatever it is, or that oath ceremony scheduled, whatever it is that you're seeking. It will lift that pause off of your process. The merit of your case is something we're happy to discuss with you. If you would like us to help you with it after the pause is lifted, great. We would be happy to see if what we could do for you, but it does not guarantee that this process will not change the outcome, so to speak, of your underlying case that you've already filed. Thank you. Let's go down. Let's go down here. Let's go down, and I'm only taking questions today, not comments, please. So reserve your comments for another time in another forum. And someone is asking, well, what will happen if the adjudication renders a negative result? What then? As I've said, we would be happy to see why they've denied your case and learn about your background and whether you're eligible for this process or not. And if for some people, once a case is denied, you could appeal the decision, or you could refile a stronger and better case. Why does the first part of the immigration removal proceeding take so long? Well, because immigration courts are experiencing a significant backlog with over 4 million cases, I believe, at this point, pending. And so judges are scheduling their final hearings, or the second and final hearing, for years like 2028, 2029. It's the backlog. USCIS is kicking a lot of cases now into the removal system, which is further clogging the system. So these are systemic problems that are slowing down the removal process. Double tap the screen on TikTok. Thank you for joining today. I submitted my I-130 for my wife who lives overseas, but no approval yet. It was submitted in November of 2024. Well, which country is your spouse from? Because it's possible that that if your wife is a national of one of those 39 travel ban countries, that could be delaying things, or your wife's case is just caught up in the recent slowdown of the I-130 processing that we're experiencing now. The USCIS has made it clear that they have shifted their focus to doing various re-reviews and comprehensive reviews of the travel ban country nationals. And so they have also indicated that as a result of them doing all of this deep work that they're doing that we don't fully understand, that they will not be able to move as quickly as they normally would on these cases. Let's see. I have an approval for an I-797? Do I need a lawyer to help me with the filing of the paperwork? The I-797 is just a receipt notice. What is it attached to? What type of cases is this? Some people will need a lawyer to help them with their filing. Other people might not need an attorney. It just depends on what type of case it is. I think in marriage cases, this is the time to certainly work with a lawyer if you have a marriage case that you're going to file with immigration. If it's a straightforward case like a child is or an adult son or daughter is filing for a parent, that's pretty straightforward. A lawyer is not typically needed in a circumstance like that. So it just truly depends on the case that you have, that you plan to file. Let's keep going here. Thank you. Type in freedom now, guys, and let me know what country, what city, state, or country you're joining from today. Can you share any advice for Haitian TPS holders expiring February 3rd, 2026? Monrovia is asking. So Monrovia, yes. So if you are Haitian and your TPS is ending tomorrow, what you should have already done, obviously, is started speaking with a professional about transitioning and if there's a way forward. Don't immediately jump into asylum unless you've had a discussion with someone who knows what they're talking about, because asylum and a bad asylum application can just get you landed in immigration court. You should be focused on understanding what your rights are right now in the event you're placed in removal proceedings or in the event you're arrested or detained by ICE. If you're not detained, but you do receive a notice to appear in immigration court because the government is waiting to push that button, so to speak, after TPS expires, if it does expire, then, well, you're supposed to get that notice. You take that notice to an attorney. You could work with someone locally, or you could work with someone like us. We work with clients nationwide, and let that attorney look at your background to see what type of removal defense he or she could launch for you. Then you should also consider certainly whether you have any pathways forward for a green card. I'm certain if you did have a pathway forward for a green card, you would have already gotten on that pathway. If you have a removal order that is an old removal order that needs to be reopened so that you could finish up your process at USCIS, work with a professional on that process to see if your case can be reopened. For some others, they might not be able to do that. They will need a waiver first, and then they will have to leave the United States to finish up. So Monrovia, as you can see, there is no cookie cutter black or white advice that I could give in a setting like this. It really depends on that individual background and how that background matches up with immigration laws currently. So very important, if your TPS is expiring, to speak with a professional about your circumstance. Thank you for that great question. Double tap the screen, guys. Still type in freedom now. Still type in freedom now. And I'm going to see if I can get that phone number back up on the screen here that I'd like for us to keep in mind to call your representative. Today is a very important day on Capitol Hill with DHS funding considerations. That's tie-barred now to the government shutdown, which is this is the optimal time to make reforms and changes to what we're seeing with ICE. You can call your representative at 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. Now, don't call that number and ask if this is McBean Law. That is not our phone number. This is the Capitol Hill switchboard, which will direct you through an automated process to find your representative, where you could leave a message and voice your opinion about how you think ICE should be funded. 202-224-3121. Now let's get back to your questions. Let's see. Green card renewals are still working. File the I-90 to renew your green card. Where are you located? We're located in New York, in White Plains, New York. Let's see. Have we already filed a lawsuit? No, we have not filed it yet. As a matter of fact, the onboarding process will end on February 8th. next week. It's going to end on February 8th. There's a slight possibility that we might extend it if we do not reach a certain number of plaintiffs. Right now, we're shooting for February 8th to close out on the onboarding so that we could draft our complaint, pull everything together, your declarations, your receipt notices, put it all together, and then file. Our goal is to file within 30 days of us closing out on the onboarding process. My friend I-751 has been filed and got a 48 months extension. What's the next step for my friend? The next step is possibly an interview an interview notice that the government will send so that your friend and the spouse can go in to USCIS for an interview. That's the likely next step in the process. If there's any concern about documents or evidence not being enough, USCIS will send your friend the requests for additional evidence that must be submitted, responded to before the deadline. Otherwise, the case can be denied. So be on the lookout for an interview notice or an RFE. Thank you guys. Come on in, double tap the screen and say freedom now, freedom now. Can I reopen my final order supervision status deportation? It might be possible for you to reopen your case. You can certainly speak to us about that. Speak to us about what led to the removal order. You mentioned supervision here. It's discretionary on ICE's part to place you under their supervision, the order of supervision. It gets very tricky. Do not approach ICE on your own and ask them to put you under their supervision. Speak with us before you even think about anything like that. Okay, but to reopen your case, it's difficult nowadays, but it is not impossible. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Type in freedom now. Georgia is in the house. Great. Thank you for being here from Georgia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, guys, the next time you come to our office for an appointment, certainly ask for one of our McBean Law cup. Okay. And we have the American flag on the back. And we also have our logo on it. We have a whole lot that we'd love to give away to those who are coming in. Just remember to ask for your mug, and we'd be happy to give you one of these that you could bring home. And we have it in the nice little box as well. So we have consultations in person in office here in White Plains, and then also virtually by video and telephone. All right, let's go. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. I received my 10-year green card in June of last year. Is it safe to travel inside or outside of the United States? Green card holders can travel in and out of the United States. The only restriction, not restriction, because I don't have the power to do any restrictions, but the only tips that I have are these. Number one, do not travel green card holder if you have a criminal record. And this is a very broad statement that I'm making here, and certainly that includes minor and serious offenses. The reason why I'm giving you such a broad advice regarding this is because you don't want to encounter a CBP officer who don't fully understand criminal procedure, who won't understand when you've given that person that dismissal or a certified disposition showing that your case was dismissed, it's no big deal, you're no longer in a proceeding. They may or may not get it. And certainly if they don't get it, you could always ask for a supervisor, but it's an inconvenience, it's embarrassing, and it makes people very uncomfortable to be called into secondary questioning. But if you have to travel and it's a minor offense, and if you have to travel because of an emergency, speak with a lawyer and they will tell you, okay, here's how you could advocate for yourself in the event they try to make this a big deal. Secondly, green card holder, you should not travel if you are in removal proceedings. If you have a date coming up for a hearing with an immigration court judge, do not travel. Stay in the United States. But most everyone else, they're fine leaving the United States. It's happening even now as we speak. People are coming in with their green card. Can applying for your FOIA get you in trouble after you've overstayed in the United States? David wants to know. David, I have never seen how the FOIA administrative process, which is a process to send your records to you that you've requested from USCIS or the State Department or the Immigration Court System or CBP Customs or ICE, I have never seen how it has harmed someone. Now, yes, we are now in a new era. We are in a new era with immigration, and it's obviously anything is possible, right? But up until this point, we have not seen this hurt any of our clients, and we request records, I think almost daily, for anyone who comes here to us with a immigration history. Let's see. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Let's see. I submitted my application for a green card 3 months ago, and I haven't received any response yet. What can that mean? You just got to hold on a little bit longer. You must be new to immigration because your expectations are way too high. You've got to lower. Here's what you do, lower your expectations. Let's start there. Don't expect that this is going to be a fast process. Immigration is very slow. You're in good shape. You should have already received your receipt notice from immigration letting you know that they're processing your case, but definitely lower your expectation. Let's see. Yes, the fiancé process from Canada to the United States is very straightforward, very, very straightforward process. My husband and I just submitted our U.S. citizenship application last night. Terrific. I wish you well. I wish you guys well with that process. My husband entered, let's go here. My husband entered legally. The I-130 was approved, but he's in removal proceedings since July of last year. I'm a U.S. citizen. What's next? He entered legally. Why was he placed in removal? That's what I would like to know. We would start there, okay? So certainly, because he entered legally and he's in the removal process, then he cannot submit the adjustment of status case to USCIS until the removal process has been finished, is over. Thank you guys. Come on in and type in freedom now. Thank you so much for being with me. If you're now joining, I covered some important news at the start of today's live session, including news about what's happening on Capitol Hill and the fact that now today is the day to contact, and tomorrow the day to contact your representative and make your opinion be made known about the ICE-DHS funding. Senator Schumer of New York is advancing a process that would bring reform to ICE at this time. Instead of just giving them a ton of money, he is calling for reform for them to no longer wear masks. He is calling for reform to require them to wear a body camera, okay, and also reform to stop the roving patrols that we are seeing them do it in home on the streets, at Home Depot, at Walmart parking lots. to stop that racial profiling and roving patrols. So now this government is looking at whether the shutdown, which we're in, will be extended as a result of these problems with DHS funding or not. This is a quick, easy fix. So today is the day to make your voice known to your congressman or congresswoman by calling Capitol Hill switchboard 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go back to this. Can you file the I-130 on Facebook? Can you file the I-130 for families from the pause country? Yes, Tasha, you could still submit your I-130. You could still submit whatever application that you want to advance at this time. Thank you. Let's see, double tap the screen. Thank you for joining me on TikTok on this Monday afternoon. I'm LaToya McBean Pompy, an immigration lawyer and founder of McBean Law in White Plains, New York, where we work with people all across the US and in many different countries around the globe to do everything with immigration. We're a full service immigration firm. We do everything from visas to green cards to US citizenship to litigation now to sue the government. That's our big thing at this point. Our big focus is to help people who are being treated unfairly by the government, and it's impacting your life. And enough is enough. Enough is enough. Can ICE take away my green card? So ICE doesn't have the power, so to speak, to strip you of your status. Yes, they can take away some of your documents like your passport and your work permit and green card. Yes, and we've had to recover those types of documents from them for our clients in the past. So they can physically take something away, but they cannot strip you of your status as a resident. Only an immigration judge can strip you of that status. Okay? Do you have to do an interview if it is the child who is sponsoring the mom? Anika is asking. In those types of cases, Anika, the government doesn't usually call you in for an interview. All right. But they can, and we've seen it happen for parents who have an immigration history. Maybe they've had a filing in the past, and immigration now has questions about the truth of the truth of what was submitted in the past. They could still ask you about those issues. So, but generally speaking, they do not call parents in for interviews if it's an adult son or daughter who had filed for him or her. Hi there, Faye. Thank you for being here. Thank you for lively having such a lively presence in the chat today on, it looks like it's on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Schenectady, New York is in the house. California, thank you. Thank you. Hey there, Jeremy. Thank you. Or Jeremiah. Oh, speaking of Jeremiah, Jeremiah says, freedom now, freedom now. Jeremiah, you just triggered something in my mind that one of you wrote yesterday to one of my posts, the post about Haiti. This was on YouTube. My video about Haitians in Ohio, and the fact that ICE is gearing up to go into Springfield, Ohio next. One of you wrote, oh, Jeremiah 29, we've really got to pray. So now is that time, right? This is an if my people moment. And for those of you who knows what I'm talking about, if my people, this is the moment. If my people, okay, I won't finish it. If my people, this is the moment. You guys need to tap into that. If my people who are called by my name, Guys, humble yourself and pray. So this with immigration, as with anything, whether it's a sickness or illness you're dealing with, or a loss or death, tap into your faith to get that comfort and reassurance. This is definitely an if my people moment. All right. So rally with me in that regard as well. Now back to immigration. Freedom now. Back to immigration. What about the 221G documents for the embassy? Will the visa be granted with what's going on while these were requested from the embassy? So, if you're from one of those 75 countries, they will not be granted the visa to you during this time, the immigrant visa during this time. They've just placed your case in this 221G process, and administrative processing is what it's called. And once the pause is lifted, or maybe through litigation, and there's an injunction on, the TRO, then and you're part of that particular lawsuit where that's the outcome, well, you will be able to get your visa and come to the United States. If they if you've been placed in administrative processing based on the fact that you need to bring more documents to the U.S. Embassy, follow their instructions, bring those documents to them, submit those documents as soon as possible so that you could keep your process moving along. Let's see. 2018 removal order, BIA appeal pending since 2019, 2021, brief filed, no decision yet, seek and release. So for in this type of circumstance, the BIA, number one, is they're just taking a long time. It can and it does take a few years to hear back from them. So here we're talking for you. This is a long time, though. 2021, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a very long time. We're talking about 5 years for you now. That's I've not seen it penned that long. The most I've seen, I think, is about 3 years. After the brief goes in, you might need to really check in on something here. Check in on something. Are you certain that a decision had not been reached yet? Because what happens sometimes, friends, is that the decision goes to the lawyer, of course, or if it's you had a paralegal or consultant work on your immigration case, the brief, and submit your appeal to them, then the decision is going to go to them. And sometimes folks don't even know what happened. They don't even know that a decision has been reached. I think you've really got to check in on something there. You could also contact the BIA. You could call them and see whether it's still even pending. Their information is found on Google. It's very easy to contact them and find out if your appeal is still pending. 5 years, I think, is a very long time. You could also reach out to us for a private one-on-one discussion so that we could discuss potentially further steps. Do I need a lawyer for my K1 wife? Well, it sounds like you do need a lawyer because she shouldn't be your wife yet, right? If you're doing a K1 fiance visa process. So you do need a lawyer to guide you. Let's go down a little bit. Freedom now. Um, My naturalization interview was approved and I was placed in queue for the oath ceremony. Will the pause affect my oath ceremony? Yes, it will. It has. Yes, it has. So you could consider joining a lawsuit, whether it's with us or someone else. You should certainly be more aggressive here because I do think that the pause is holding up your oath process. When we call this number, Judic is asking when we call this number on Capitol Hill to make our opinion known to our representative, what should we say for the ones who don't understand? Okay, so if you think that it's wrong for ICE to wear masks, on the streets, if you think it's wrong for them to just stop people randomly and question them about where are you from? What country are you from? Are you a citizen? Are you from here? If you think that's wrong, if you think what you're seeing on in the news is with respect to ICE is wrong, then you always can, you're free to call your congressman or congresswoman at that number I shared earlier and say, I don't think that DHS should be funded in this way with so much money. I think we really need to see change with DHS. Please oppose any funding increase and requests from DHS at this time until some changes are made to how they're doing their work. That's it. Don't approve any increase in their budget until a change has been made, because I really don't like what I'm seeing. Period. You don't have to get into anything deeper than that. And they'll get it, they'll understand. And you could leave a message as well because those phone lines are busy. Those phone lines are busy. Those phone lines are busy. Back in the day when I started my career after college and I was working on Capitol Hill, I was the one answering those phones, guys. I was the one answering that congressman's phone. I was a staff assistant. That's what we did. We answered the phones and we took messages from the constituents and passed the messages on to the legislative team. I did it. It's powerful. It works. And I will tell you this from being an insider from way back when as a staff assistant. I had to I had to keep a record of each and every constituent who called. And furthermore, a letter needed to go out to each and every constituent who called and shared an opinion about whatever the issue was. It's a very strict process. Okay, so put your record there, contact your representative and make your opinion known to them. They will keep a record of it. It's really important that you do that. Okay. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. Freedom now. What documents are needed for your 10-year green card renewal? Check the instructions. The government has, the instructions are very easy on the document checklist. I don't want to mess it up by telling you, by forgetting to include something. So just go read it, okay? It's better for you to do it that way. Double tap the screen, guys. Double tap the screen. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Freedom now. Any guidelines for adjusting status? Guidelines for adjusting status, yes. So, and this is a question from Instagram. To adjust your status, please make sure that you are qualified to do it, because if you're not qualified for this process, a denial could land you in removal proceedings. And I really don't want that to happen to you, okay? Please be careful. Read the instructions carefully to make sure you're eligible for adjustment of status. If a visa is not available for you yet, you're not eligible to apply for adjustment of status. If you're an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, a visa is always available for you. There's no limitations in that regard, and you might be eligible to adjust your status. But if you're in removal, and you enter the United States with a visa, then you're not able to do adjustment of status until your removal case has been terminated. Friends, I'm begging you, and I don't beg. I don't like to beg. Begging is not good. But in this regard, I'm begging you guys, please don't mess up and just file that adjustment of status, that I-485, because USCIS is being so aggressive now with placing people in removal when they make this mistake. So it's easy not to do it. Just get the information, know whether you're eligible, read the instructions, speak with a professional, and get it right, please. Can someone make an appointment to see you in person? Yes, it's very easy. Contact our office at 914-898-9488, or you could go to mcbeanlaw.com, fill out our form, and someone will call you. All right. Thank you guys. Oops. TikTok is if you have not yet started following me on TikTok, let's go, guys. You could hit that follow and hit the follow now. Thank you for so many people who have passed through today's live session on TikTok. Hit the follow so that you'll be in the loop on what I share each day. My best friend, my best friend's wife is incarcerated and he has an interview tomorrow. And what will happen, she's the petitioner. That information needs to be shared with USCIS so that they could reschedule the interview. Okay, that interview will need to be rescheduled. Now, I don't know how serious things are on the criminal side and how long that person's going to be incarcerated. Speak with a lawyer about those details, but certainly the interview can be rescheduled. Any update on the 75 country pause? Not at this time. We're going to open up the onboarding process very soon. So stay tuned and stay connected. Subscribe to our newsletter to get information about when the onboarding process will begin. It's because we were under a lot of pressure from you guys. You put the pressure on for us to get this litigation and opportunity to you. McBeanlaw.com/subscribe is the best way to stay connected to us. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's go down. Let's see. Faith, can you type in your question again, please? Type in your from Facebook. Type in your question again. Type in your question. Is there a difference between being denied and refused of your immigrant visa status? Normally, what happens is this, and this confuses a lot of people around the globe. I don't know why the government doesn't get it together and just rewrite things. But if you go to the US Embassy and let's say, for instance, you're missing some documents or yes, and they want you to return with documents, they will place you in administrative processing and it will read like, okay, they've refused your case, but that's not even what happened here. During this pause of immigrant visas for folks from these 75 countries, if you go to your interview, you will get an exit letter that will tell you this is based on presidential proclamation, whatever the situation is, whatever the reason is. This is based on that pause. It's going to read also like this is a refusal, but it's not. It's just the poor language by the government. Thank you to all of the new followers on TikTok. I appreciate it. Hit the follow button if you have not started following me yet on TikTok. Are there I-601 waivers that are being approved? Yes, it's still happening. Those waivers are still being approved, and we're still getting our approvals as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you for the gifts. My adjustment of status under my sister was sent back to sent back by DHS. Does it mean that the case was rejected or just needs correction? So if they sent back your entire packet to you, not to worry, just fix whatever the problem is, cure whatever the problem is that they told you on the cover page for rejecting your case, and then turn around and resubmit your case. Do you know what's the name of the form or process for someone to get a tourist visa after a 5-year bar from the United States? Do you do that process? Yes, we do the process, and it's a waiver that a person will bring with him or her to the US Embassy to explain to the embassy that various things, that number one, you're not a danger to our society. You're also acknowledging what happened, what the wrong was that led to your visa being taken away or canceled and you being barred, and you're asking the embassy to set aside temporarily this immigration problem and grant you your visa anyway so that you could come into the United States with a new visa in and out, and that you're not going to be overstaying. It's a two-step process. The embassy doesn't have the authority to just say, okay, we agree with this, here's your visa. They actually have to send that waiver request in to the Department of State in Washington, D.C. for their review. And if they give the green light, then you're then contacted by the embassy and issued your visa. We do this process. It's the non-immigrant visa waiver process. If I have a removal order, what letter will say that? What letter will say that? Well, normally it's an order from the judge, the immigration judge. It will say ordered removed and have some more information on it about the date and location when that happened. You could also go on the EOIR automated online system and put in your A number and your nationality. And that system will also tell you whether a judge had issued a removal order against you in years past. You could also call the 800 number. I don't have that in front of me, but you could just Google that 800 number for EOIR, EOIR, and that 800 number will come up and you could call it with your alien number, and that will also tell you whether there's a removal order. Thank you for being here with me on TikTok. I'm LaToya McBean Pompy, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law. I have a little side gig called YouTube. Go on McBean Immigration TV, YouTube, where you could also subscribe and see long form content that I create. McBean Immigration TV. Guys, thank you so much for the 300,000 subscribers. We are so busy. I didn't even get to send out a thank you. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. We hit the 300,000 mark a couple of weeks ago, I think. And I thought, oh, wow, this is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is all organic. This is, we didn't do the paid ads and all of that on YouTube. You guys have been the best at sharing the videos and helping people to find us. So thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where is, let's see. I got family members who have been detained by ICE. How do they get a bond? So Hannah is asking about bond. They certainly can put in, I don't know, each person will have might have a different process, okay? You say family members, so different process depending on their circumstance. So if they if they're new to being placed in removal, then they will get a notice to appear in immigration court, and a bond hearing request or motion can be submitted to the judge to ask for a bond before the judge. And if it's denied, you could always do a redetermination request. That's one way this could go for the person who is new to being placed in removal. The other way that this could go is if the individual has a removal order already and they're detained, the procedures are different at that point. At that point, you're looking at potentially a habeas corpus request to produce that body to challenge the detainment of that person for whatever the reason is that that lawyer sees is the reason for the habeas. And that's how that individual could get out of that circumstance. Yes, there's also emergency stay of removal that could be filed at the Board of Immigration Appeals as well. Then there's also discretionary motion to stay to ICE, which doesn't work these days. It really depends on the circumstance, quite frankly. It just depends on the person and what their background is. Okay, Hannah? So I think I did a good job trying to show the different scenarios depending on the background of the person. But it's possible that I might have missed something. So you should, or the family member should contact us or another lawyer so that we could be more specific about things. I appealed my reopen of my case in January of 2025, but I haven't heard from them yet. Do you know how long it could take for them to respond? It depends on the type of appeal that you've filed, which form you've filed. Sometimes the appeal response is very quick, particularly when they're going to approve it. It's usually very quick. If it takes longer than a few months to hear back from them, certainly speak with another lawyer about strategy and about whether you're qualified to refile your case, and also to discuss whether there are any changed circumstances since you filed the reopen request in January of 2025. I don't even know who you filed this to. Is this in immigration from a removal side of things, or is this a USCIS side of things? We handle both scenarios, by the way. Can you take a case if a person lives in North Carolina? Yes, yes, and we've helped clients in North Carolina too, all 50 states and many different countries. My wife and I are planning to move to her country in 6 months and stay there. I'm sorry, the question is, it's gone. I'm sorry. Are Haitians who do not have are Haitians with TPS? I believe this is what the question is. The other question, are Haitians with TPS who do not have a criminal record, are they at risk? Yes, they are, because I think honestly, if I was in a member of the Trump administration and from a policy standpoint, I would have had a list. We're ready to go. DHS, I need a list of all the TPS applicants. It's easy. Get that list. Okay, segregate it by people who have a removal order versus who don't have a removal order. Very easy for them to do that. So now you have maybe two lists. And then now your actions will be, your next step as a government will be based on, the two lists. If the individual already has a removal order, well, they're going to try to apprehend that individual. And it is possible for you to have a removal order and TPS, because we've helped a lot of Haitians in this scenario. You came into the United States in 2001, 2005, and you got a removal order just like that after applying for asylum, and it didn't work out. And then 2010 comes around, TPS becomes available, and you become a TPS holder. Then you're still here all this time, no worries, no problems. Well, now if TPS goes out of the way, is moved out, well, there's that list A here of all those people with a removal order. So I think that it's very easy for them to try to execute something there against these individuals or apprehend them. Then you have this other list of people who came in with a visa and they overstayed. They never applied for asylum. They're not in removal proceedings, yet TPS is now removed. Well, as a government, what can we do there? Well, we'll have to issue them a notice to appear in immigration court. We can't just go and just detain them and hold them and we issue the notice. So that's a USCIS problem to handle. USCIS will have theirs to handle, and ICE will have theirs to handle. That would be my thinking if I was working for the government, for DHS. So whether an individual is at risk or not as a Haitian at this point with TPS will, I think, depend on those two scenarios. And if you're on either one of those lists, I'm sure you are, right? Then do you have an immigration case going? What's going on with your immigration case? Do you have a pending asylum? Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have a marriage case? Okay, well, it's great. But then there's this stupid pause on these applications for Haitian nationals. So you have the pause. then you have to think, okay, should I jump on McBean's lawsuit or not? That would be your next consideration. That would be my thinking if I was in your shoes, okay? That would be my thinking. I spent a lot of time on that because I know a lot of people today, they're really worried about TPS. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Hi, Bridget. I see you. Thank you. Greetings to you as well. How long is the citizenship application taken? It is still under a year, actually. Freedom now. Freedom now. Let's go down. No record at all. Is it true that spouses and children under 21 are exempt from the pause? That is not true. And our government did make it very clear that they don't care about that any longer. The whole family unification process or rationale, as they say, has been abused. That's what they said in the most recent presidential proclamation. So they don't care about the family aspect anymore, despite the fact that you're an immediate relative of a US citizen. Friends, this live session went a little longer than usual because I really wanted to get out to you the information regarding how you could take steps today to contact your member of Congress to voice your opinion about whether you think DHS's funding requests should be honored or whether you want to see some changes or reforms made to DHS before they get an enormous amount of money. Contact the Capitol Hill switchboard and say the name of your senator or congressman or woman. The number is 202-224-3121 to contact the Capitol Hill switchboard. To contact us at McBean Law, you can reach out to us at mcbeanlaw.com or at 914-898-9488. Our our lawsuit against USCIS, the 39-country pause, is going on. This is a heavy week for onboarding for us. Please complete all steps, read the fee agreement, read the FAQs, fill out the form and make your payment. And once you've completed all steps, you're good to go. We will be contacting people this week also who are missing some pieces there. Please follow the instructions on our website very carefully. We are motivated to get this filed. Onboarding will close out on Monday. Well, on February 8th. I don't even know what date is that of the week, which is Sunday, February 8th. It could be extended if we do not reach the number of plaintiffs that we're seeking before filing. We're motivated. Help us to do the work that we think can make a difference. Okay? Help us to do the work that we think could make a difference. That's really our motivation at this time. Thank you so much for being with me. Join me live throughout the week when I find the time to be on social media, on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you so much for being here with me today, guys. If I could just find my other scene here, I could close this out. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.